My name is Joe Bowers. I'm an advanced care paramedic from Halton Region, just outside of Toronto. Yeah, it was a nice garden area with pathways. You can see where there's a center little concrete area that they must have just come to walk through and sit in prior to the earthquake and prior to everything else. Now, after the second quake, I guess after the first earthquake, we talked most of them to go back into the hospital, into the ward rooms. And the hospitals are not like anything at home. Every building is separate. There was a ward building somewhere, X-rays in its own little building, the OR was in a separate building, so everything moved outside amongst everything. When the second earthquake happened, they brought everybody back outside, and no one wants to go back inside anymore. Some of the buildings on the grounds have now been condemned. They're not allowed to go back inside. But most of the patients don't want to go back in. Some need surgery, and they refuse. They outright refuse. As soon as you tell them they're going to a building, they want nothing to do with it. They don't want to go back inside. The sanitation conditions, they don't exist. People are using whatever they can find. Some have bedpans, some have old empty water bottles that you're using, and others we've seen just urinate right out in a little bit of grassy areas that are left. As far as any bowel movements, by the time we come in the day, we don't see that, but you'll find pockets around the buildings where people have gone to the washroom, found some corner to go. There's some porta potties up in another area that they brought in. There's only 4 or 5 of them, and supposedly they're so disgusting you wouldn't even want to walk into one, that you try to avoid it. There's no washroom facilities around for the people to use. There's a father over here behind us with an 8-month-old. We've been watching him the last couple of days, and I mean, she's in clean clothing, cleaned all the time. She goes to the washroom, needs a diaper changed. He bathes her. She's constantly in good care. His other daughter had some pretty horrific injuries. I guess she went off to an OR. It's never come back, but he's pretty well just occupied the bed space and just cares for the 8-month-old. The mother comes and goes every once in a while, but that's how they live. But people are going on about their daily basis. They get a little wash bin, they get some water, they scrub their clothing. There's some white bed sheets in here that are whiter than anything I've seen at home. And these people are just cleaning them in a basin and hanging them on a line. So there's no plan right now if it was to start raining for these people for any more shelter. They've got tarps and that I don't know who was provided in the beginning. And again, they've used pieces of whatever they can find, strapping from boxes, pieces of linen, anything they find, to tie them up to the trees and rig up what shelter they can. The shelter's only for right now for the sun, and it does make it far cooler under here. Although it's hot, it's cooler than under the direct sun. But if it starts to rain down here, it's going to be even worse. There's the cracks in between the tarps. You can see already the leaves are starting to collect and fall on them, and soon if it was to rain, that'll be full of rainwater, and it'll be pouring down in their bed spaces. So what dry linen they do have will be soaked in a short period of time.